Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. For our plan to be accepted, we have to be able to offer solutions that are able to function on a higher level than the existing structure can. So let's say I've talked over and over again about there's always three choices that everybody has at any time, and when you're backed into the corner you only see two, and both of them are untenable. And this morning I wanted to talk about immigration reform. That was one of the things that Donald Trump was very concerned about, and he wanted to build his wall, and he made Stephen Miller the person in charge of that, and Stephen Miller came up with a plan that separated families, and deported people. And now Joe Biden is in the office in the White House, and he has his own plan too. Haven't looked at it at all, but I have a feeling that what it is it's a continuation of what is acceptable. Let's say, so we have but this morning, but we have the three choices now, and now it's up to us to come up with a choice that allows everybody to function on a higher level. What is in everyone's best interest? And we do have a solution to that. It's our Faith of the Pure Ray program. This morning I ran across an article in Salon on their Salon's website, and Stephen Miller was on Fox News over the weekend. I didn't see the Fox News interview, but Stephen Miller said in his interview on Fox News yesterday, if you give low-skilled illegal immigrants a path to citizenship, that will mean a net fiscal transfer of trillions of dollars long-term to pay for Social Security, to pay for Medicare, and to pay for Medicaid. He added, it's an extraordinary expense to give to 20 million illegal immigrants. So, wow, that's a lot of money. 20 million immigrants, and illegal immigrants, and how are you going to deal with that? And I think that the main misunderstanding here, that Stephen Miller is doing is he's using kind of like, from my opinion, he's using scare tactics to play to his base of the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is focused on money and power, and they equate money and power. And the problem with it is if you lose your money, you lose your power. So they never let go of their money. The Republicans never let go of money. There is no trickle down idea. There's only a trickle up idea. Okay, so now the other thing is the low-skilled illegal immigrants. Now, what makes anybody think that these are low-skilled people? Are we prejudiced against these people so that we don't see them? These must be the people who work out in the fields. These are the people who have no education, nothing. So they're coming from Central America. That doesn't mean they're low-skilled. When I was in high school, this is a long time ago, when I was in high school, I lived in Mexico for one summer as part of an exchange program. And I found out that, my prejudices against them didn't hold up, against other countries didn't hold up. I also spent time in Canada too. I haven't traveled a lot anyplace else, but when I went to school in Mexico, I found a very, very rich culture, a very rich education program. In fact, it was like an exchange program where we got to meet the people, and we were encouraged to go out and explore on our own, and to practice our Spanish and get to know people, and we had a really rich experience down there. The education process is really very good down there, and the people were educated. In fact, they were very kind to us. I have very fond memories of my experiences there. So I know that the people who are coming across the border are probably not low-skilled people. I would say that it's more likely the people who are coming across the border are the people who have been driven out of their homes because they are skilled, and they have built some sort of if somebody is trying to drive them out of the country, why would they drive out the people who have nothing? Wouldn't it be more likely that they are getting rid of the educated people, the people who are the higher skilled people? Wouldn't that be the more likely scenario for somebody taking over? Why would they take over something that isn't worth having? Okay, so now the idea is this. I'm going to unify the world for a minute, and I'm going to say the one thing that everybody wants is to be able to create the life we want without interference. If you have built up a career, a life in Central America, whatever country you're in, you're being driven out, basically, where are you going to go? There's always people who would like to go live in another culture, maybe, somebody from a foreign country wants to experience the New York nightlife, or, people travel all over and move. There's always people who will go from one place to the other, leave their culture, but then people like to live within their culture. So, but the one thing we all share is that we all have a blueprint in our heart for the life that we would like to live. And each choice that we make is designed for that, but we don't always know how to do that, especially when foreign and domestic policies by the governments are not based on doing what's in anyone's best interest, when they're based on power games and power grabs. It's happening in all the countries. The United States is not immune from that. We are not different from any other country. We're people just like everybody else. The people are the same. We have different cultures, we have different religions, but that's okay. We're diversity. We're united in our diversity. Okay, so how does our plan solve this problem about immigration? The idea about wanting to go or needing to go is something that it doesn't really make, let's say, it does make a difference, but it doesn't make a difference. Okay, one of the rights that people will have as when their country becomes part of the international government. So let's say a government will decide to join, but then when the people have encouraged them to join, so the invitations to join are coming from the people, not a trickle-down idea. When people get tired of the power games, then they'll encourage their governments to join. The power is derived from the people. Okay, so there we are. But the power a nation has within the international government is based on population. So a more oppressive population, people will just leave. And the country, a government will lose power in the international arena. Each country is sovereign, has the right to its own culture, its own religion. No world leader like the United States will never go into another country and dictate terms to them. Well, we want you to be a democratic country. We're going to topple your government. That'll never happen again. It'll be based on every culture has the right to its own culture and religion, and what happens comes from within the people, within the country. The government changed. No people, and this is what happened in Iraq. Because the government was instated from an outside force, it'll never be accepted. Okay, there'll always be resistance to that government. Now, on the first idea about money. Now, remember what Stephen Miller said about triggering the fears of people that, oh my God, we're going to have to pay for all this these illegal immigrants to come into our country. Well, that doesn't necessarily have to happen, because what would happen if these people had a dream and they were educated, but they didn't know how to create the life they wanted, and they went to school to learn how to create the life they want based on the 7 major religions. That's the faith of the pure. It unifies people, and it creates a school that teaches people the principles of each of the 7 major religions. And Jesus, for example, taught the principles of creativity. Moses taught productivity. Gautama Buddha taught the principles of prosperity. The Prophet Muhammad taught equality, and Rama taught the principles of security. Confucius taught the principles of capacity, and Lao Tzu taught the principles of tolerance and empowerment. So it's like a school, and I'm working to create and establish this idea of using the religions. And then I'm not an expert on any of the religions by any means, but by bringing in the people who are the experts from their own religions and putting them all together in this school. You start out, when you want to learn how to create your life, you learn the principles of creativity. So let's say they take what they already know, their education, they want to leave. They'll have the right to leave based on this idea. But yet their government is going to have to start being more tolerant to the people, otherwise they're going to lose power. So they'll have the right to leave, but when they leave, they'll go and apply to, they'll go to this school, and let's say it's a circle, and in the center of the circle is the offices of the international government. And then what they will do is when they go to school, as they're going through the school, it doesn't matter which school they go to. They can go to school in Mali, they can go to school in Sudan, they can go to school in China, they can go to school in any country, and then the international government, they'll apply to leave, and then the international government will, let's say, lift them out of their circumstances and move them to the new place where they're what they need is the position is available, like finding a job for them, finding if a certain country lacks, let's say, technology, expertise in technology, the people who know about technology can go and they can live in that other country, and if they don't like it, they can go someplace else. They can just go to the school and apply there. Again, they don't. Then if they're, let's say, only halfway through their education, they can finish their education over there. These people are all going to be very, very capable people wherever they go. If it's a matter of the low educated people, it doesn't matter, because if there's a place that needs farm workers, for example, for a while, they can go there into that other place. Instead of thinking about one country, we're all citizens of the entire world, and we can go any place that we want, but we're more likely to stay within our own culture. The idea of the faith of the pure ray teaching people how to create the life they want. What life would you create? Okay, so let's say, personally speaking, I'm on Social Security. I'm a retired dental hygienist. My skills are old now. Basically, if I wanted to go and live in another country and retire there, I would be kind of a burden unless I brought my Social Security, and then I wouldn't have any recourse. I would be subject to their medical treatment too, things like that. So basically, I would be somebody who doesn't have any real skills that I could do. I would be considered one of the people that Stephen Miller wouldn't allow into our country. But at the same time, I'm a psychic, and other cultures don't necessarily appreciate that yet, the idea of prophecy and psychics and the New Age movement kind of thing. The people who have a very strong religion that's not based on that idea. So basically, I might not be able to go from one place to the other. I've had several years of college, but yet I would be considered a low-skilled person. You see, it's like, where do I fit in? But yet at the same time, I'm a publisher of my books, and I basically have the capacity to make a lot of money from my books, and they help people and they introduce ideas. So I'm actually, where do I fit into that? Now, as the head of the nonprofit organization, I'm a global citizen just like everybody else is. I have to think on the international level too, because where do I fit is an important question that we have to find out, and where does each of us fit? We fit where we will end up, what would be our ideal situation. If we are somebody who has always dreamed of becoming an actress, you don't want to live in a little place that just is, local community theater, but that's a good place to start. And then if you have your skills, then you can move up and follow your dream. But there are lots of places where people can go and follow their dream, and that blueprint in your heart is the dream that allows us to do that. So this is our inalienable right to live the life we want without interference, to create the life we want, to be able to live that dream that is buried in our hearts, and every choice that we make is designed to do that. But how do you do that when you don't have any resources to do that? You can just go to the schools, and it's in the best interest of the faith of the puree, and it's in the best interest because of a government to support those schools, because those people who go there also come out and they're no longer low-skilled people. They're able to develop their talents and gifts and to create their life based on their talents and gifts. So one of my next projects is to help people figure out what their talents and gifts are. And this is where the psychics come in, because there are always 144,000 light bearers on the country. And that's our job, to help people know what their talents and gifts are, because they come from God. When we can channel from God, that's where they come from. Being able to figure out when you're young, you don't always know what it is. But if you know from God what your gifts are from God, that's what your project is based on too. So you're going to be taking, if this is something that you want to do, you're a human just like everybody else. Basically, that's where you start, is the schools that teach people all of this information on how to create the life they want. And this has happened in the past. These kind of schools have happened in the past in different places around the world a long time ago. How do you think people lived to be 800 years old? Did they just eat really well? Did they get all the nutrients in their diet? Or how did they overcome things that other people can't overcome? What did they know that allowed them to live that long? Okay. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to explain, the last thing was training people to the faith of the puree has to do its 3 levels. Let's say there's like a circle. You can find it on the website. There's like a circle, and each of the pie-shaped things is a different religion, and you go around the circle and you do that. You understand the principles associated with it, of each of the religions, and the clerics from each of the religions will be the teachers there. Then the second row would be like the administrative offices for the school and things like that, and where the teachers work together. But the upper floor is training the people to become become clerics and become teachers there in the other places too. So they can go and they can be part of that idea, and they can work in the communities. And eventually what'll happen is there will be so many of these schools around that everybody will create the life they want. And then basically when it becomes something that's common in our culture, then basically people will be open to this idea. They'll be passing it on, and they'll grow up in this idea with being able to understand all the things that we don't have to experience anymore. So if Joe Biden is getting resistance from the Republicans about, we don't want to spend trillions of dollars on letting all these people coming in. I mean, a fiscal transfer of trillions of dollars long-term to pay for the Social Security. You know, who wants to live on Social Security? I don't want to live on Social Security as the main source of income for me. I have my talents and gifts. I'd rather spend the rest of my life working on doing something I like. This is my way out of Social Security. And I know that you have collected things too, and you have done things that allow you to live on something on a higher level too. And that's why, let's say, why GoDaddy and YouTube have been so great. But that's still not enough, because after a while, you know, it stops working. But this will never give up until people evolve out of it. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. Check out The Faith of the Pure Ray. Think about how our plan for world peace can solve the problems that we have right now. Because first of all, it's just going to introduce all these project ideas and as solutions, but then the project ideas are going to take off, and the people who are going to those schools are going to be going around and taking this information and taking the idea forward. And that's what your job is to do. I can introduce these solutions, and if you support them, that allows you to function on a higher level too. So like, share, and subscribe. And most of all, share this with your family and friends, and let them join the debate and know that there is a solution. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks.